Cells may be the building blocks of a spreadsheet, but functions and formulas are the power behind them. They are there to help you with the hard work of calculations and avoiding having to do things manually. Whether it's a simple addition formula or highly complicated logical and mathematical functions, there are hundreds of functions to choose from, and these can be combined in unlimited ways. In this video, we're going to look at how to create formulas and some of the most common functions, which make calculations easy to do. So, what are Google Sheet formulas? Let's start with a simple example. Let's add up four numbers, 1, 3, 2, 4, the goals scored by 4 players in a game. To add these up on the sheet, I type in equals 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4 and press enter to get the result. The equal sign is what tells the sheet that it's a formula and not just some text. You will see that as you type in the formula, Sheets will tell you the result in a little speech bubble. I can also do this by referring to the cells the numbers are in, i.e. equals B2 plus B3 plus B4 plus B5, then press enter. Note, you can also type the cell references in lowercase. And one of the useful things about cell references is that if you change any data in the cells, the formula will update automatically. Now, imagine if I had 100 players. The formula would be pretty long to work out the total. For example, equals B2 plus B3 plus B4 up to B101. Well, this is where a function can help out. Functions are a collection of keywords that will do specific jobs. Functions have a certain syntax that need to be used. They start with an equal sign, like formulas do, and then they have a pair of brackets. Inside the brackets is where you define what you want the function to do. It doesn't matter if you type the function in lowercase or uppercase. The one we want in this example is the sum function, as we want to sum up the goals scored. In cell B6, let's type in the sum function equals sum open bracket B2 colon B5 closed bracket. This is telling the sheet to sum up the range from B2 to B5, i.e. the goals scored in game 1. If I had 100 players, the function would be the same size and be something like equals sum open bracket B2 colon B101 closed bracket, much better than typing in 100 cell references. In the example above, we wrote the formula in the cell, but you may have also noticed that above the cell area, you could see the formula next to the fx. This is the formula bar. And if you have a formula in a cell, when you select that cell, you can see what formula is in there. Plus, you can edit the formula there. Now we know how to write a function. Let's look at some more common ones. In this example, let's look at analyzing some exam results. I've already entered in the student's exam results, and now I want to know the average mark, the highest and the lowest mark. Underneath the exam results, I'm going to add the average mark. In cell B13, type in equals average open bracket B3 colon B12 close bracket and press enter. This gets the range from B3 to B12 and works out the average mark. As we can see in the speech bubble, it's worked out that the average exam mark was 75%. This is much quicker and simpler than adding up all the marks individually and then dividing by the total number of students, i.e. open bracket B3 plus B4 up to B12, close bracket, divided by 10. Now let's find the highest mark. In cell B14, type in equals max, open bracket, B3 colon, B12, close bracket, and press enter. We see that the highest was 91%. And finally, let's find the lowest mark. In cell B15, type in equals min open bracket, B3 colon, B12 close bracket, and press enter. We see that the minimum was 56%. Great. With 3 simple functions, we now have a good idea of how well the class is doing. In this final example, I want to work out the percentage of students that sat an exam. This has 3 parts to it, and will introduce you to not only 2 more functions, but to how functions can work together to give you the information you need. So what I need to work out is the number of students who sat the exam divided by the total number of students, and display that number as a percentage. First, let's find out how many students sat the exam. In B12, type in equals count, open bracket B2 colon B11 close bracket, and as always press enter. The count function adds up all the numbers in the range selected. It ignores the text not present. So here we can see 7 students sat the exam. Next, let's add up the total number of students. In B13, type in equals count A, open bracket, A2 colon A11 close bracket, and press enter. This time the count A function adds up all cells which aren't blank in the range selected. It doesn't matter what type of data is in the cells. So it's correctly worked out that they are 10 students because there are 10 names in that range. Finally, I want to know the percentage of students who sat the exam. So I need to divide the number sat into the total, i.e. cell B12 divided by B13. In B14, type in equals B12 divided by B13 and press enter. To turn the number in cell B14 into a percentage, click on B14, then click on the percentage button on the toolbar. As you can see, it's worked out that 70% of students sat the exam. If you feel comfortable with the above, you could have quickened the process by putting the function that you entered into B12 and the one into B13 together, and this would give you the same result. Equals count open bracket B2 colon B11 closed bracket divided by count A open bracket A2 colon A11 closed bracket. Note, you only enter the equal sign at the start of the formula. There's a list of all the functions. Open it by clicking on the Sigma button on the toolbar and selecting either all or one of the categories. When you start typing a function, you will see the syntax it needs in the green box. Click on the arrow on the right to open more information about the function. All of this is extremely useful, especially when using a function for the first time, or indeed when you can't quite remember what data it needs inside it. You can find a list of all the functions and a summary of each at this address.